Recently, I asked myself, what can you do in 5,000 Minecraft minutes? Well, you're about to find out. Well, if you were to only use wooden pickaxes, you could mine a hole this big in 5,000 Minecraft minutes. You go through about 2,700 wooden pickaxes, but you could do it, and it's a pretty decently sized hole. Let's take it up a notch, shall we? If you were to use an Efficiency 5 pick with Haste 2, you could mine an area this big in 5,000 minutes. Quite a lot bigger than the wood pickaxe one, I'd say. This is huge. You can barely load all of the area without it fogging up in the corners. But this is what you could do in 5,000 minutes. I mean, you need a lot of diamond pickaxes, but you could do it. As much as I want to mess around with the amount of spaces that you can mine in 5,000 minutes, this is not the point of this video. I actually just passed the 5,000 minute mark on my server, so I got some cool things to show you. So as you can see, I just recently passed the 5,000 minute mark, and we've gotten a lot done on this server. My latest base is this one right here, the giant steampunk loading facility, and I think it's turning out pretty well. But I want to take you back to where it all started. And that's right here in the spawn chunks. And yeah, everybody hopped on the server right here, and I began my Minecraft journey right over here at this mine. This is the very first thing I built, and it is a community mine. And actually, this is my cat. I have not touched him ever since, so I'm glad he's still around, guarding the mine from creepers. Nice job, kitty. But this is the very first thing I built. I dug out this little hole, put in some furnaces, some storage, and everybody on the server helped out and built this mine right here. And it's a pretty standard mine, just strip mines every 2 blocks, and it's been used quite a bit, as you can see, with all of these holes. But shortly after I built this, I almost died. Yeah, not my greatest elytra moment. And right over here is my starter base. It's pretty simple, just a hole in a hill, and I think it's a pretty nifty little starter base. We have our furnaces over here to smelt up whatever we need to. We even have a smoker to cook up our food. Some storage over here. Up on the left, we have our bedroom. Oh, and apparently the bed is gone. But we also have this packed ice right here, and this I got from Wandering Trader like the first couple of minutes of the server. I thought it was pretty cool, so I put it here. We also have our nether portal right here. I'll show you the nether in a little bit. Some carpet, and over here we have a couple workstations, some lava. We have some cocoa beans. Over here we had my villager setup. It was pretty nice until somebody came in. I don't know who. It's pretty sad, and killed all the villagers, ripped out all the carpet, stole my redstone. It was a whole fiasco, but it worked really well. While it was in progress, I had a minecart track running from my villager breeder up into here, and just have some storage for some random bits and bobs. Another wart farm, our enchanting setup, which I removed and replaced with some more expensive blocks. Over here we have our pumpkin and melon farm, which is now shut down. As you can tell, a lot of things from here are pretty old and not being used anymore, but we still have a ton of melons and pumpkins and some spare armor from villagers, which is pretty nice. That's how I got all my early gear, was from these villagers right here. Out the front we have my mailbox, and this was actually used quite a bit to trade with stuff. I don't know why somebody's head is in here, but it is, I guess. I also made a little pond right up here, and a bit of a Zen garden back here, which I think turned out pretty nice. It gave me a couple crops to begin with. Now, over here, if I can find it, is one of the most important things I did on the server. Yes. Now, before I cleared out this massive space right here, this used to be just a hole, and a whole bunch of villagers fell down in here, and I kind of just turned it into a villager trading hall. But again, somebody has stolen all of the villagers or killed them all, and I don't really know who. I suspect it's the person who had the head in my mailbox though, so if you're watching, please stop. Last time I was in here there were villagers. I promise, people, I promise I did stuff with villagers. but I don't know what's going on. Over here was the minecart track to my base, and that's how I got villagers in there in the first place. Now if we take a look up here, we have my iron farm that I built with a friend, and this thing has been pumping out iron since the very early days. And if we check the chests, yep, we are basically full, and look at all these iron blocks. This has been wonderful to have on the server. The first big project I did was actually this Parthenons type building right here. This took an insane amount of quartz. Like an insane amount, guys. Like I'm talking thousands. I traded about 90% of it with villagers, so every single block here represents 1 emerald traded. And it is actually pretty crazy. But I built this because on the server we have a pretty cool data pack where if you kill a mob you have a chance at getting villager heads. Oh my gosh. I have not been in here in a while. This is actually insane. Yeah, this is a pretty big building, but apparently not big enough to house all of the heads that we have here. But we have little plaques for each head, and I think that's pretty cool. As you can see, slime, we have the date and the name, which this one was done by me, so that's pretty cool. And I wanted to add a little bit more something here, and so on the server, somebody had a bit of an obsession with the color red, so I ended up building the red vault right here. And this, if you get a key card, you used to put a red dye in there and would do it, but we actually got pranked, and everything was changed to lime green, which was pretty funny. I would recommend checking out that video. Link will be in the description below, if I remember. But this turned out pretty cool. It was a nice little vault to house all of the special blocks that we gathered on the server. Now, after I had done all of the things here, I felt I should actually build some sort of base. And that is what led me to dig this massive hole right here. This was a pretty big project, and it took a lot of hours. But I think it turned out really, really well. I had to decorate the walls, and once I got the hole in place, I was originally planning on building a mini city in here, but it turned out that this hole was actually too small. So I went with a loading dock for steampunk type ships and flying contraptions. And as you can see right there, we even have a hang glider. So I think that turned out really quite well. And originally I was living out of this little cave right here. I was just storing all my crap in this. So we eventually moved on and built a little stone storage system right here. You can input whatever stone you want and it'll get sorted into these chests here, and we have some light indicators. As you can see, we are pretty full. Same as this side, it's getting kind of out of control. But after we did that, we made a bedroom, I believe, which is right here. I think this turned out really, really good. We have a note block, ice, piston door, which turned out really quite nice. This is kind of messy. I haven't cleaned up my room in a hot minute, guys. But yeah, as you can see here, we have just a nice little bedroom. And in fact, we have some hidden secrets behind these paintings. And even back here, we have some redstone magic. And that redstone magic is actually a song. So if I break this, we can listen to a little tune. This plays every time I get in bed and get out, and it's really quite nice. And over here we have our final little secret. It's pretty tricky to get into. Give me a minute. Many attempts later. Yes, and yeah, this is just a little secret room. It doesn't serve much purpose, but I kind of wanted to build it, so it was pretty nice. And that is about it for the bedroom. Now if we take a look outside, this is the current project that I'm working on. It's a armor equipping station, so I'm not sure if it's hooked up properly. Yeah, it's not quite hooked up. And down here we have some nice little catwalks so we can view all of the cool builds that we have built in here. And over this way we have a elevator actually, so if we come down here we can just ride the elevator. It's a pretty simple flying machine, but it works in both directions, and I really like it. So we also have a portal right here, and another really cool little project that I made was this Ender Pearl dispenser, and it looks pretty cool, I think, and does the job, gives me the Ender Pearls. Down here we have my super smelter, and this was a really fun project to work on. If you put blocks in here, items, they will automatically get distributed equally into these furnaces and smelt it. So let's just see if we can give this a little test. In fact, yes, if we just put some stone in here, we should be able to see it in action. Yep, this one goes on first, and then all the others, yep, okay. And it looks pretty cool in my opinion, and one of the really cool things is these lights. So if we wait here for a second, all of them should light up, and then they travel down, indicating that your items are flowing into the chest here, which is a really, really cool function. And if you'll notice, there is bamboo back here, and that is because this entire thing is fueled by bamboo. And if we take a look back at the redstone here, we actually have we have a bamboo farm back here, and this was really fun to work on as well. If we just flick the button, we should be able to see all the bamboo just get sheared off. Flying machine will go that way and come back and just rest in its place, and we have a hopper minecart underneath that picks up all the bamboo. And that gets sorted and filtered into all these hoppers here, and there's a whole bunch of complex redstone to make sure everything is working properly. And I think it turned out really quite nice. I decorated it a little bit, so we have some access back here to all the redstone, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So if we make our way out of the south tunnel, we can move into this one right here. And this one is pretty cool as well. We have a music disc launcher. If we just test it, yep, it still works. Oh, get out of here, zombie. We have a slime block launcher right back there that actually launches our music disc out, and I think it's pretty funny. We can obviously play it in here, do whatever we want with it, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. There used to be paintings here. Again, somebody is griefing on the server. I don't know who, but this is just an access to the redstone back here. Fairly simple stuff. I have a video on it if you want to check that out. And over here, we have our little villager station. This is fairly new, and we just have these guys so we could trade for golden carrots because I was running quite low on food and I needed to do something. And there's lights right up here that if they're on, we can trade with the villagers. If they're off, we can't. As you can tell, it's early morning, so we actually can't trade with these guys right now. And another little secret, if we just turn this thing, we open up hidden access to the redstone back here, which is something I like to do in my builds, and I think it, I don't know, it's just really fun to do. So we can close that up. Over here we have a super duper simple cactus farm with a whole bunch of junk items. It hasn't been running too long, but we're getting a little bit of cactus, and that's all we really need. Now over this way we have a hallway to the bamboo farm, and it's a nice hallway, I guess. Nothing too special about it. Insert abrupt transition here. And over here we have our enchanting setup. This is just one of these little housing facades, and we filled it with our enchanting setup, and I think it turned out really, really nicely. But one of the coolest things about this is we have two types of anvil launchers. So if we hit this one, we should see an anvil launch, hit the wall, come down right here so we can use it for our enchanting needs. But if we hit this one, we should be able to see it open up and actually get launched out of the building. And we can try to hit, I don't know, unsuspecting bystanders right there, which I've actually done, and it's really quite fun. This is one of my favorite things on the server, and I think it turned out really, really well. And then we also have a dispenser for our books if we ever need to enchant them. But that is about it for this base. I think it's turning out really, really well, and yeah, this is what I've done in 5,000 minutes. I have a couple other projects that I need to show you, though. One of which is through our nether portal right here. So if we take a pop through, it's not actually the Nether Hub itself, because this thing is kind of not doing too well. It doesn't look so good. But if we fly over this way, actually this way, we have ourselves a wither skeleton farm, and this thing is looking really, really cool. I covered a whole bunch of the ground in lava, so we got better rates, but it's your pretty standard design. You just walk along here and attract all of the wither skeletons. So this thing has been really useful for all the beacons that I've gotten, and yeah, it's just an all-around good farm for coal and bones and stone swords if you want them, I guess. Another thing we did on the server was actually build a Enderman farm. So if we come on through here, we can see the Enderman farm that we built. I put all these blocks in here and actually free-handed this arc right here. I think it turned out pretty nice. So if we smooth down here, all the Endermen just land here, and we can just come in, kill them with our swords, and pick up some Ender Pearls for our Ender Pearl dispenser. Oh yeah, and it also gives you XP. Forgot that part. But that's about it for this video. I've showed you all the things I've done in just over 5,000 minutes, and I think it turned out pretty well. So if you find yourself at the end of this video and you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like or even subscribing. That would mean a lot. But my name is Parker. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.